Hey everyone, Anthony Gerbi here with the special edition of Thursday Thoughts, where we're going to recap an event we had this past week with a rep from JP Morgan who talked about a mid-year market update. And I wanted to give you my top 3 takeaways from that event. Now, before I do, please remember, subscribe to this video. So, the top 3 takeaways from our mid-year market update event. Number 1, what is the definition of a recession? Okay, that's a question, not a fact. But a recession, depending on who you ask, can be determined a lot of different ways. There is a classic definition, and that is 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline, or negative growth, in other words. We've had that. So in a lot of people's estimation, and I'd be fine with characterizing it this way too, we are in a recession. But there are actually a few other factors that the National Bureau of Economic Research looks at when determining whether we are or we're not. And really, my opinion, that's gotten a little bit political these days. The word recession has become really loaded. So as far as I'm concerned, we are in a recession. But that recession is not a 2008 recession. That's the important piece. Even though we've had some negative growth, it hasn't been negative to the extreme. And there are lots of things to be optimistic about, like demand and hiring, which can't go fast enough these days. There aren't enough people for the jobs we want to fill. So those things are actually looking up. That's not typical of your average recession. So I think don't be afraid of that word. Yes, technically we might be there, but I don't think we're going to be there for long. Number 2 takeaway, has inflation peaked? And not to bury the lead, we think it probably has. There were good numbers that came out for July that showed it was actually going down from its peak in June, and that caused the market to react really favorably. Well, by the same token, I think that news may continue, not necessarily continuously. We might have a month where it jumps up a little bit, but that may be the new trend, which I do think the market will favor as time goes on. And the very last thing, the best news of all, if you haven't looked at your statement since June 30th, it might be a fun thing to look at now because the market has done a lot better since June 30th. We're up over 10% as of the day I'm recording this over the past 2 months. And it's been a really good sign to see the market kind of follow the trajectory that we hoped and expected it would for the rest of this year. So where do we go from here? The trend is definitely upward. It has been for the past 2 months. That doesn't mean it won't necessarily continue to be upward, although that is our general opinion. We do think there are things to be optimistic about. So as far as the mid-year update goes, it's been sort of a tough first half of the year, but the second half is definitely looking up, at least in our estimation. So we had a great event. There's lots more information. If you want to set up a time to go over it related to your account, please get in touch with us. If you work with us or if you're brand new to us, it's a complimentary feature of what we do. We go over your account, look at what you have, and make sure that you're allocated appropriately for what's going on in the world. So with that, we'll see you next time.